Okay, so I'm going to show you your next step on your bag. So we're looking at the ugly side here, but I want you to see that you have your casing side on the top and the bottom, and your 18-inch sides, you did the 1/4-inch seam allowance there. So now what I'm going to do is take this and fold it together, pretty sides together, matching up my 18-inch sides. And I would recommend that you take an iron to it just to flatten out any rough edges, make sure it looks really nice, and that it matches up really well. And then you're gonna go sew it, and you're gonna wanna sew it at a 1/2-inch seam allowance, which is the 4th line in or the one right before the red. But I want you to pay attention to this because the top and bottoms are your casing. You only need one casing for your drawstring to go through. And if your drawstring is gonna go through, you don't wanna sew through this. So you wanna start right here at the bottom of your casing, sew a little bit back stitch just to the top of that, and then go back all the way down. And then you'll also do that on the bottom, but the bottom you're gonna sew all the way across, and that will create a rectangle, and that will create a bag for you, and that is this step. Okay, so now I'm gonna sew my drawstring bag together on the side and the bottom. Now remember, this casing, I don't want to sew over it so that it can open, and actually I'm gonna sew it on this side. So I am going to start right below the casing. I'm going to go 1/2 inch. You want to come zoom in right here. So my 1/2-inch seam allowance is right there. You'll see that my needle is not covering up that casing. I've gone through my yellow checklist. Everything is working on my machine. So I'm going to sew a couple stitches, back stitch, and I'm not going over that casing. I'm just going right to the edge, and I'm going to sew all the way down. 1/2 inch. Now this time on the bottom, I can sew all the way down because my string is not going to be going through that casing. I'm going to back stitch a little bit and then bring it back. Okay, trim my string. And now I'm going to sew the bottom of it, again, at 1/2 inch. Sew a couple, back stitch, and go all the way down. Half-inch seam allowance, this is the one right before the red, 4 lines in. Back stitch to finish it. Make sure, okay, there's one last thing I need to do, and that's right here on the edge to keep this straight. So I'm just gonna go about 1 inch in. So come in really close on this one. I'm just gonna sew from here on my casing, so from here down. And that just keeps everything nice and sturdy. Again, I'm not covering my casing at all. I'm just sewing that edge. And you can back stitch it to keep that string in. And then I'm gonna trim all my loose edges, and I'll show you what the next step is after.